Hey guys, Kane here with this week's XF Throwback, Lovers in a Dangerous Spacetime. So I've been trying to highlight some indie games that maybe didn't get as much notice as they should have. And while this one is kind of popular and it is a Games with Gold game, this week I was playing a lot of new stuff, so honestly I didn't get a chance to check out something completely on my own. This one was a recommendation from someone on Twitter, and I think it was a good one. So thanks to Hang On Get Ready from Twitter, we're going to show off some Lovers in a Dangerous Spacetime. So this game can be played local co-op or solo. I'm going to play it solo, which means I get to have a pet, and the pet will basically be my second player. It's pretty easy to navigate them. You just kind of hold the Y button and then point where you want them to go. So they'll command whatever station you ask them to. So there's 4 different areas for this campaign. I believe I'm on this third one, which is the kind of snow area. So I figured I'd show off a little bit of this, and then I realized, you know what, I really don't know how to play this game anymore. So we don't last very long on this level. I'm actually going to kind of jump out and go back to an earlier one. This game's not too hard, single player. I've heard it's a little bit easier co-op, especially if you're playing with someone who, you know, can work together with you. If you're not playing with someone who can work together with you, you might have an easier time single. But at the beginning of each level, it kind of gives you a hint on the map to tell you where to go. And what we need to do is we need to go collect these different animals. I believe on this level it might be frogs. But on the earlier level, I believe it was rabbits. So, unfortunately, the CPU cannot navigate the ship for you. If you want to move around, you kind of got to do that yourself. Each level has a different kind of mechanic. This one, if you notice, is going to be kind of a snowstorm. Whereas the level I'm about to jump into is more of a gravitational field for planets. And that one is pretty cool in my opinion. It's a very good starter level, because on that level, you can easily just use the shields yourself and then let the computer shoot, or vice versa. And kind of just float around pretty well. So you kind of have to jump between different systems pretty frequently. Because you're basically, you know, on a Star Trek type ship, but you don't have a crew. It just kind of sucks. But I thought this game was pretty cool when it came out. It's from Asteroid Base. And it released for $14.99. However, obviously it's currently free on Games with Gold. So if you do what I'm doing right now, which is I'm jumping into the middle of Act 1, basically. And I'm going to be playing that section. I forgot to put on the actual upgrades. So you can put these on different things, and there's multiple different types of upgrades, and you can kind of mix and match. So like, there's beam, there's metal, there's, I believe, power. And those 3 different elements or whatever can kind of create new things. So what you want to do when you jump in here is you want to come find these rabbits and free them. Obviously, you're going to notice the art style of this game. It's probably like the biggest draw to it in my opinion. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I do know that this now gives me a trend now of picking Kalimba and Lovers, which are pretty similar in that, like, super bright. So we'll pick something different next week. I'm going to try to pick something a little lesser known as well. Because both of these games that I've picked the last 2 weeks, honestly, should have been on Game of the Year lists. And if they weren't, that's kind of a tragedy. Like, these are incredible games. This is one I need to go back and finish. Because I've only actually played, I want to say, like, maybe 6 hours. Which is just not enough. And when I played this, I played it at launch, so I have not played it since. As you can probably tell with me trying to navigate through an asteroid field pretty poorly. Alright, well, we found our next set of rabbits, so we're just going to save these dudes. I like that weapon. So, there are different ships in this game, and each of the ships have different configurations. Some come preloaded with gems, some don't. The achievement list for this game says on True Achievements that it can be completed in 12 to 15 hours. I don't know how accurate that is, because I have a feeling that's going to be a little bit skill-based. Like, if you're good at the game, you probably could do it that quickly, but if you're not, it may be a little bit harder. But the thing I like about this game is just how, like, all the different systems kind of integrate together really nicely. Like, getting the different upgrades on the ship is pretty cool. As you can see, like, I had a laser beam there. I'm going to go back to my normal just little machine gun. And I like the fact that for a local game that was designed clearly with 2 players in mind, they found a way to make it work with 1 player. That's super cool to me. And it actually works really well. Like, it's not one of those games where you play it, like, as a group all of a sudden and you can't go back to it single player. Like, the local's solid enough on its own. It's something I'd love to see more games figure out. So we got our rabbits. I'm going to jump in a second and kind of warp to a different area just to show you something a little bit different. And I have, like, hyperdrive. You know, warp speed, man. We can get from point A to point B really quick. Alright, so that actually should give us enough rabbits to unlock the level, which is your goal on each level. Now, obviously, there are more rabbits you can save than you actually need to unlock the level. And that's one of the things you'll see at the end of this mission. It's going to tell me how long it took me. It's also going to tell me how many rabbits I saved. And you can go back at any point and, like, recomplete these. It gives you a little bit more replay value by having to do some of that stuff. And it lets you see different areas. So, like, you could have theoretically beaten this level without even coming in this area. And I personally think that weapon's hilarious. Whether or not it's good is hard to tell. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. If you guys have suggestions for next week or questions about the game, feel free to let me know. And please do like and subscribe. It really does help us out a lot. Later.